Welcome. Make yourself cozy and explore with me.
For our entire history, we've lived inside a constant hum. True silence doesn't exist in nature. Even in the most remote corners of the earth, there's the rustle of wind, the flow of water, or the faint texture of shifting air. We evolved to be relentlessly outward-facing. Our brains are wired to constantly pull in this stream of acoustic data, mapping our surroundings and filtering out background noise to listen for danger. Today, we have replaced the wind and water with engineered sound. We live submerged in traffic, mechanical systems, and digital notifications that keep our nervous systems in a state of permanent outward vigilance. Because our neurological baseline is defined by this chaotic sensory flood, our brains have no biological framework for what zero input actually means. Achieving that 0 point requires extreme engineering. This is an anechoic chamber at a Microsoft lab, the quietest place on Earth. It's lined with dense geometric wedges that absorb 99.99% of sound, dropping background noise into negative decibels to erase the outside world. It is natural to assume that stepping into a physical void like this would finally give an overstimulated mind a chance to rest, but the reality is far more unsettling. Visitors quickly experience deep disorientation. Without acoustic reflections to orient their bodies in space, people lose their balance and feel a sudden spike in anxiety. Within minutes, your own body provides the only audio available. You hear the rush of blood, the mechanical grinding of joints, and a deafening, echoing heartbeat. The terror of the anechoic chamber reveals that human neurology requires a constant connection to external reality just to remain oriented. Without it, our basic internal mapping begins to fray. This chart illustrates the brain's internal volume dial, known as central gain control. Under normal conditions, it expects a steady baseline of environmental acoustic data seeding in. When you step into the sudden vacuum of an anechoic chamber, that external signal disappears. In response, the brain's internal amplification rapidly spikes upward, aggressively searching for the missing signal. Without external signals to filter, this amplified sensitivity turns inward. The brain reclassifies faint bodily noises as primary, urgent threats, and eventually generates spontaneous neural activity that we experience as hallucinations. The deafening roar people report in a perfectly quiet room is actually the sound of the brain frantically turning up its own volume to survive the absence of the world. If a person can endure that initial panic, the neurological chaos eventually settles. Once the brain accepts that there are no external tasks to perform, it executes a radical shift. This model shows the outward-facing sensory processing network dimming. When that happens, a new system powers on, the default mode network. This is the brain's inward-facing mode. These active hubs manage the construction of our inner lives. They consolidate memories, imagine future scenarios, and help maintain our core narrative of self. For a long time, we believed a resting brain was simply a dormant machine, but we now know this internal state is highly active and consumes a massive amount of metabolic energy. Absolute stillness acts like a neurological mirror. It forces the mind to stop doing and finally start reflecting. While the absolute zero of a testing chamber is too extreme for the mind, our biological need for quiet remains paramount. As you can see in this historical photograph, we have long engineered anechoic silence to test heavy industrial machinery, yet we rarely cultivate that quiet for ourselves. Instead, we actively eradicate silence. We fill every void with podcasts, music at the gym, and constant digital notifications. The neurological consequence is significant. By keeping the outward-facing mind perpetually engaged with external stimuli, the default mode network is permanently suppressed. This persistent acoustic consumption starves the inward-facing mind of the space it requires to process a coherent sense of self. We need to treat quiet as a distinct, highly active biological state required for mental maintenance. Allowing the inward-facing mind to operate delivers measurable cognitive benefits. It facilitates emotional regulation, enables deep problem-solving, and links distant ideas to boost creativity. Seeking out stillness is not a retreat from the world. It is surrendering to the mechanics of how human cognition heals and organizes itself. stepping away from the noise of the world provides the only biological opening we have to truly meet ourselves.
I hope you enjoyed our journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more cosmic adventures.